So, we will be discussing from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 23. Please chant after me to the Prabhu. Let me just see. Is it? Yeah, recording is done. Nainam chindanti shastrani.
नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि
Nainam dahati pavakah.
नैनं दहति पावकः
Na chainam kledyanti. न चैनम क्लेद्यन्तापो
न चैनं क्लेद्यन्त आपो.
If you chant with if you break the words, it will be difficult to chant. You chant together. Na chainam kledyantapo.
न चैनं क्लेद्यन्त आपो.
Not tapo, tyapo. Why is there? Na chainam kledyantapo.
न चैनं क्लेद्यन्त आपो.
Na shoshayati marutah.
न शोषयति मारुतः.
Not so, show. Na shoshayati maruta.
न शोषयति मारुतः.
Nainam chindanti shastrani.
नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि
Nainam dahati pavakah.
नैनं दहति पावकः.
Na chainam kledyantapo.
न चैनं क्लेद्यन्त आपो.
Na shoshayati marutah.
न शोषयति मारुतः.
I think this shloka everybody understands simply by reading it. Na enam. Enam is referring to this Atma. Na enam. This Atma. Na chindanti shastrani. It cannot be chindanti. It cannot be cut into pieces. Chinna bhinna, we hear in Sanskrit, means cut into pieces. Chinna bhinna. So bhinna means different pieces. So cut into different pieces. So this Atma cannot be cut into different pieces by any shastra, by any astra. Shastra means which is held in hand, and astra means which is thrown from the hand. It's like an arrow. So both the objects cannot cut the soul. This is the point. The indestructible property of the soul is being described here in another way by the Lord. Then the Lord says, Na ayanam dahati pavaka. Anam, again and again he's saying anam, this means not that something else has this property. Atma itself has this property, not material objects. Do not think it to be the property of any material objects. Anam, this Atma only which I'm talking about. Na anam dahati pavaka. Dahati means burned and pavaka means agni. So agni cannot burn the soul. The fire cannot burn the soul. Okay. Na cha anam. Anam is this soul, this. Na cha and na klidyanti apa. Apa means water. And klidyanti means to moisten. The water cannot moisten the soul. So do not fear taking bath. Sometimes we become fearful. Oh, it's too cold. We cannot take bath. So no, we should not feel any fear. Atma cannot be moistened by cold or hot water. Na shoshayati marutah, that it cannot be dried. Shoshayati shoshana, absorb water from something. Shoshana means to absorb something from somewhere. Shoshayati means the marutah, marutah means the wind cannot absorb water from the soul. There is no water in the soul. It cannot be dried by wind. So now you see by this process of neti, na iti, this soul does not have this property, this soul does not have this property. So in this world we see that the wind is drying objects, the fire is burning objects, the water is moistening objects, and we also see that the weapons are cutting some objects. So do not think of the soul as any of the objects which are coming into your purview. Purview means which you are actually able to see. So by this we can have some idea in a negative way. Ye nahi hai, ye nahi hai, ye nahi hai. By na iti. So soul is not this, soul is not this, soul is not this. This is called neti style of explaining what the soul is. It's like Vyatirek. This is called Anvay. Atma is this. Soul is this. Soul is servant of God. Soul is this. Chinmay. Soul is this. This is called Anvay, direct definition. And soul is not this. That is called Vyatirek or opposite definition. He is intelligent. He is not a fool. Now you understand?
Yes.
Does it make sense to you? He's intelligent. This is direct definition. But he is not a fool. So it is opposite way of defining him. He is not a fool. Then obviously if he's not a fool, then you can say he's intelligent.
Yes.
Something like that. So that's how the Lord is explaining here. Na iti, na iti. It cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be dried by wind and like that. Okay? Yes. Today's shlokas are very easy. We'll finish in 2 minutes. Don't worry. Only the shloka, not the purport. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, not withered by the wind. Let me check with the Zoom devotees. Is it talking about you or somebody else? Yeah, maybe it is talking about myself. And this helps us to become relieved of so much anxiety. We become dried if we lose some marks in the examination or we lose some money, is it not? But my dear devotees, you should understand that we don't get dried by anything. Do not get dried by anything in this world. You're not going to get dried. खाली लग रहा है, सूख गए हम तो, पैसा सूख गया हमारा, हम ही सूख गए, ऐसा होता है कि नहीं? We feel dried up. If you have no water, if you have no money, if you have no followers, or all those things, if you have somebody's wife has left. I remember I was in Nehru Place for some work. Years have passed. I don't go to Delhi so much. I don't go for that pilgrimage. But then one person just came to me seeing me in sadhu dress. Prabhuji, and what happened? Just seeing a sadhu means they have to dump their misery on the sadhu. Okay. My wife has left. I should be very happy then. Now you are free to chant Hare Krishna. No. So he was feeling like that his whole life is dried up just because his wife has left. But you must remember, we should not lament for anything in this world. So and also we get moistened. How do we get moistened? Little bit somebody appreciates us or gives us some respect, we immediately become, oh, so nice, like this. But you must remember that we soul, as proper soul, nothing happens to us. These are very nice statements, yes, for the soul, the concept of soul. Gita Bhushan commentary. But just as the house dweller is destroyed when his house is burned, when the body is destroyed by the blow of weapons, the soul should also be destroyed. In the previous shloka, what it was mentioned, kam ghatayati kam hantikam, veda vinashinam nityam, ya enam ajamadya avyam, katham sa purusha partha, kam ghatayati hantikam. A sa-purusha, a person who knows that the soul is avinashi and nitya, is eternal, it is unborn, and it doesn't decay. How can such a person cause harm to anyone or kill anyone? That means when he executes dharma, he does not incur any sin. For the execution of dharma, if he kills, then he does not get any sin for that. So then Arjuna can give the argument, no. If the body is burned, if the house is burned, the person staying in the house also get burned. Similarly, if the body is burned or cut, then the soul should also get cut. Similar way, very, very similar way, same argument has been given. Very, very interesting example, a question by Maharaj Rahuguna to Jada Bharat. That in the sweet rice, you understand? Kheer. Yes, we understand. Anything to do with food, we definitely understand. Yes, any item, halwa, kheer, puri, yes. These are the things which you like to hear. So now in the kheer, very, very nice example. If in the kheer, in the sweet rice, you boil the milk, will the rice inside the milk not get boiled? Yes, it gets boiled. So similarly, if there is trouble to the body, the soul should also get affected. That question was asked, but you must remember, this analogy is not correct because rice and milk have same nature. They are material objects. But Atma is not the same object. So even though it is indwelling in this body, it doesn't get affected by the transformations of the body. Okay? Yes. Swords or shastrani cannot cut it. The fire weapon, that means pavakaha, cannot burn it. The rain weapon Apah cannot wet it. The wind weapon Marutah cannot dry it. Accordingly, the Atma is not disturbed at all by being exposed to all these types of weapons, either used for striking or those that are thrown. I explained these two words. Shastra means by which a weapon which you hold in hand and strike a person. And Astra means you throw that weapon and that is used for harming others. I hope if as a child you have seen Mahabharata, then you must have seen all those weapons fighting against each other. Have you not? You know, when somebody throws a wind weapon, then other someone throws a mountain weapon, and they fight. As a small child, I would never hear what they were saying, the philosophy or the dialogues. I was very eager when the fight is going to happen. Which weapon Arjuna will throw, which weapon other will throw. Everybody would like that. So we have experience of that. We know about these weapons. Srila Prabhupada will say these things in his purport. All kinds of Srila Prabhupada's purport, all kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. One thing you have to learn from this: what glory do we have ourselves as soul? How much glorious we are, indestructible, avinashi. And how much we have degraded ourselves to the concept that we think if we don't marry, we cannot live. I mean, why I'm hitting on this point again and again? Have you not lived till now? Most of the devotees are not, many of the devotees are not married. I mean to say, I have no problem people get married or don't get married, but we get bogged down, BOGGED. दबा के रख दिया गया हमको कि unless you do this material thing, you will not survive. And all the while the Lord is telling, no, you are indestructible. Everyone has to do as per his karma, so I have no objection whatever they have to do. But actually, if you see, the society is forcing us to believe you must do this, otherwise you cannot survive. Yes. Is it not? I saw that. And it's amazing, while doing all those things, they themselves are suffering. Yes. Is it not? If you ask your parents, have you been happy by getting married? No. Then why are you forcing us to get married, whether girl or boy? They will scratch the brain, then you can scratch the brain also. What an amazing illusion. Then afterwards, it never stops. It never stops. The wife is there and the kids are there, and then person completely forgets what is the purpose of his human form of life. I'm not here to criticize Grahastha Ashram. The attachments are just there, which is not me speaking, is the Shastra which speaks. Or you have to do a very hard 14-hour job. Unless you do that, you cannot survive. How everybody is surviving in this world? I'm seeing people are also surviving. Grahastha devotees surviving in 10,000 rupees also. And still the Mataji is not working outside. And then there are still people who both work like, I don't want to use any heavy words, but 1 lakh rupees they're also getting. Then also they are not saying it is too less. So this, what happens when we don't hear about ourselves. About Krishna is a different subject matter. We don't hear about ourselves also. Our needs are very less. And but our need is very high. What do you want to say? Our material needs are actually very less, but our spiritual needs are very, very high. We have to be very highly nourished spiritually. Nothing less than, what is it? How do you say? Infinite happiness can satisfy the soul. That is the need of the soul. Infinite happiness. Brahma Saukhyam Tunantam. If you say such things, people will not listen. Or people will not accept it. But that's what the soul is actually hankering for. So I'm emphasizing on this point that is what a glorious, we are ourselves so glorious. And where we are now, what kind of soup we have landed ourselves into. समझ रहे इसका इंग्लिश का मतलब, कहां गिरे पड़े हैं हम लोग. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons. But formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Firearms were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to the modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. Okay, this is very easy to understand. I don't have to explain anything in this. The Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Freezing? Very nice. Is freezing cold? That's why internet is also freezing. Let's see if it is coming now. Oops. You can give me that. Or rather, I just use my phone's mobile data. It's just very bad. लगाइए देखिए आ जाए तो ठीक है नहीं तो हरी. So I hope you did not miss it. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So now there's a philosophical point that we have understood that the soul cannot be cut. That's very easy to understand. The Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original Supreme Soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the Supreme Soul. Because they are atomic individual souls, eternally, Sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy, and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as the sparks of a fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. I read the whole thing, now I'll explain. It's very simple. The Mayavadis, they explain that there is one soul, or whatever, one Brahman, and a portion of it, when it gets covered by avidya or ignorance or by Maya, that is called Jiva. I think we have several times discussed that. But as the Lord is explaining here, that nothing can cut the soul. So even if you say, so this is correct. So now if that is the case, then how can you cut the Supreme Soul? If you say the Supreme Soul can be cut by avidya, separated by avidya, and then made into a jiva. So that basic axiom that the soul cannot be cut is getting nullified by these things. So we don't accept this. This is the first point. Second, by saying that Maya has influenced super soul or supreme soul, Parabrahma, you are saying that that Maya is superior to Parabrahma, which is also wrong because Maya is Jada. It is not possible for Maya to conquer the Supreme Lord. So by these two arguments are destroyed by this. I was reading yesterday, it's very interesting. Srila Prabhupada explains that the arguments of Shankaracharya are the teeth of Mayavadi philosophers. Okay? All the arguments of Shankaracharya, all these arguments of Shankaracharya. But the Acharyas like Sripad Ramanujacharya and Srila Madhvacharya, they break the teeth of this, like arguments of Shankaracharya. That's why these people, these Mayavadi philosophers, they are very proud to call themselves as Vedantis, knower of Vedanta. But we call them Vedantis. Vedanti means those who do not have any tooth. they look anybody who doesn't have any tooth look very funny. Teeth, they look very funny. So Srila Prabhupada in a very nice way he puts, all their arguments are useless and they just get cut down. I will encourage devotees to read Adi Leela, chapter 7, text number 128. Very nice. Please note it down. It talks about Om and Hare Krishna mantra. Very interesting discussion. How Mahaprabhu is telling that Om, or the holy name of Krishna, is Om is the name of Krishna, and there also it is explained how Om is Krishna. Om is name of Krishna and Srimati Radharani and Jiva. Om contains the name of Krishna, name of Srimati Radharani and Jiva. So it is not an impersonal conception. They always chant Om by the impersonal conception, thinking of the Nirvishesha Brahman, impersonal Brahman. But you can read it. It's a very nice discussion which Srila Prabhupada says, and this is explaining Mahaprabhu's statement that in the Vedas, the Mahavakya is Pranava. Pranavaha Sarva Vedeshu. Why I'm just saying that, then after that Srila Prabhupada explains about how to destroy Mayavadi philosophy. So you see, it is very important to discuss these things because it's very pleasing to Krishna. Otherwise, this conception that the soul can be cut, or then if it can be cut, then it can be merged also. So this is not possible, because they say after liberation the soul will merge into Brahman or Paramatma. Atma Paramatma mein mil jayegi. The soul will merge into Paramatma, which is also not possible. I think it's very clear to you. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. What is our explanation? What is Vaishnava explanation? How the living entity gets bound? Very, very nice and simple example. There's a big fire, which is Krishna, and then there are sparks. So the sparks are eternally sparks. The sparks are the living entity. And because they are small and they have a tendency to enjoy the conditioned souls, so by Lord's will, the avidya potency influences the living entity. It is not cutting the living entity. It is just covering the consciousness of the living entity. Is it getting clear? See why I am asking, is it getting clear again and again? Because after hearing repeatedly, still you might have, when you speak, it might come out, soul has no form. You know why? Because that's what we hear in India a lot. Soul has no form, the Lord has no form. One devotee, when giving his class, was speaking, Atma ka koi roop nahi hai. I don't blame that devotee. It is just in the chip mein ingrained kiya. It's in our chip, it has been ingrained that Atma has no soul, Atma has no form, Atma has no form, Atma has no form. No, the Atma eternally has a form. Are you able to understand this? This is a little funny. When Mataji from Bharatul, she has been hearing our pravachan almost for 3 years. Almost 3 years. Every week almost she was coming. And chanting, I think 16 rounds also. But then she had one complaint against me. She did not tell it to me. She was very cultured. But then she was telling to another Mataji. Everything is nice about Prabhuji's pravachan, but why he says that Krishna only is God? What did you hear for 3 years? She did not like this thing that why Prabhuji is saying only Krishna is God. You see, so that means they are hearing but not hearing. So that's why we need so much repetition so that things go deep into our heart. That Krishna, that the soul is eternally part and parcel of Krishna. Same in quality as Krishna, but eternally separate from Krishna. Otherwise, it cannot realize Krishna. For realizing, you need a person who will realize. This also a very nice argument. Prabhupada explains in Bhagavatam elsewhere in purport, if you talk about self-realization, there has to be self. Are you getting it? Or do you want to chew your nails on this? I do not understand what is it. I know some people are hungry, so they don't like to chew their nails. Yes. But they should not chew their nails before the kids, before the teacher. Not good habit. But one good thing about chewing nails is at least you save money on nail cutter. It's a little bit joking I am doing, but I'm just saying that too. It's amazing how, can you just reflect upon it? If you destroy our individuality, what will happen to us? Can you conceive of it? Conceive से धारणा कर पा रहे कि हम खत्म हो जाएंगे तो क्या है? खत्म हो जाएंगे. So if I am finished, then how will I realize myself? Is this argument being caught by my devotees here? If you destroy yourself, what will you realize? Who will realize? Okay, so these are all stupid arguments of Mayavadis. Why people buy it? Because they are also stupid. So why should we buy your arguments? These are arguments of the acharyas, and if we actually reflect upon it, this is very simple to understand. The Vaishnava philosophy is very simple and very, very, how to say, seamless. There is no hodgepodge in Vaishnava philosophy. But everywhere, if you discuss Mayavad philosophy, there will be complication. So now you understand the what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. The Atma cannot be cut, and Atma, because it cannot be cut, you cannot say that the Supreme Soul can be cut into individual Atmas, which will again get merged into Supreme Soul. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Prabhuji, why do you comment personally on us? Because I'm a person. I'm not impersonal, is it not? If I was impersonal, I would have not commented. Okay. Just a little bit joking so that you remain awake. Make joke of yourself. Don't make joke on us. No, there are good habits and bad habits. I must correct some bad habits. Okay, though my dear devotees, next shloka is text number 24. Oh, you told me that class will finish in 20 minutes. When did I tell? I forgot that. I forgot. Please chant after me. Achedyoyam adahayoyam
अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदहयोऽयम्
akledyo shosha evacha
अक्लेद्यो शोषेव च
nityah sarvagatah sthano
नित्यः सर्वगतः स्थानो
achaloyam sanatanaha.
अचलोऽयम् सनातनः.
So this is very easy to understand. Achedya, same way, same thing Lord is saying in a different way. Achedya ayam means Dev's Atma. Achedya, it cannot be cut. Same way, same thing. Adahyo ayam, adahya means it cannot be burned. Akledya means it cannot be moistened. Ashosya eva, certainly. And certainly it cannot be dried also. The first line is very clear, very easy. Nityaha means eternal. Sarvagataha, it can go anywhere. Now, sarvagataha, sarvagaha should not be understood that the soul is all pervading. No. The sarvagataha word means it can reside in any material body anywhere, even in the sun planet. Because none of these material things can influence the soul, so the soul can live anywhere. My dear devotees, using this shloka, can you accept that there are living entities living in the sun? Yes. Are you able to get the argument? Because soul cannot be destroyed by any material situation. So if a particular material body is given by which it can live in the sun, it can live in the sun. That means a fiery body. Live in the fire, yes, very simple. Just like how many of us can breathe in the water? Milind Prabhu? No? 100%? Nobody, is it not? But if Prabhupada gives the example. If I cannot breathe in the water, does it mean that the fish cannot breathe in the water? So the soul has no problem. Soul is not going to get moistened by water. We have such a difficulty in this taking a cold water bath. I mean, I must admit, I don't take cold water bath. I take a warm water bath. I think other devotees also are doing that. No problem. But just see, you can see these dolphins and other creatures who stay in Antarctica even now. So you see, the soul can, if it gets a proper body, the soul can exist in any situation. Again, it can live without marriage also. No. The soul cannot live without marriage. The Lord is not saying that in Bhagavad Gita. The soul can live without marriage. Oh, no, I'm just joking. Sometimes I have to joke. See, I'm actually joking, but actually it's a very deep import. Again, I repeat the same thing. We are being forced by our education system that we must work like a dog. Only then we can survive. It doesn't work like that. Anyways, and in that way, we have no time to think about the eternality of the soul. Sarvagata is clear. It can go anywhere. So I can go to America, Prabhuji, also. Yes, if you want, you can go to America, hellish place. So compared to what India is. Sthanur let us understand what Srila Prabhupada is translating. Then we'll understand. Sthanur means what? Unchangeable. Okay, it doesn't get changed. Achala means immovable. And Ayam Viswa and Sanatanam is eternally the same. See, all these words, Achala, now there can be an argument. Achala, so Atma is not moving, but we say the Atma is changing from one body to another. Don't understand Achala in that sense. We'll read the commentary and understand what is the meaning of Achala. Achala means immovable, it doesn't move anywhere, but what does it mean? We'll understand in the commentary. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable. Present everywhere means it is not, please be very careful, present everywhere does not mean that the soul, we, you, are all pervading. It means we can exist in any material situation. I'm repeating this point because this can be misunderstood. Also, we can say that, we can understand that the souls, minute souls are everywhere. That we can accept. Minute souls in different material bodies are everywhere. But we cannot say one soul, one Atma is everywhere. That is not accepted. Okay? This will be explained in later on in 10th canto also, that if you accept that one soul is everywhere, that means Atma, then how it become controlled by you, my dear Lord? But if we accept the soul is Anu or small, then we can accept that Atma is controlled by the Lord. When we say the Lord is master, that means there has to be servants. What is the point of having a master without any servants? So we are servants and the Lord is our master. And we are Anu is small and the Lord is Vibhu. Unchangeable. So that we have discussed several times. It doesn't make any changes within itself. Immovable and eternally the same. Gita Bhushan commentary. Not being affected by any of these weapons, the Atma is thus called respectively by the appropriate names. What a beautiful way of explaining. In the previous shloka, we have discussed that Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka. So if amazing commentary. If an object cannot be burnt, cannot be cut by Shastra, it will be called Achedya. Can you understand the Sanskrit?
Yes.
See, one thing is word and then there is a definition. Like car. So car is a word and the explanation of the car will be whatever, the description of the car. So the description has been given in shloka number 23. Nainam Chindanti Shastrani. The weapons cannot cut the soul. That's why this is the definition. And it is defining the word adahya. समझ में आ रहा है ना? नहीं मुश्किल होता है. Adahya means which cannot be, achedya. I'm sorry, achedya. Achedya means which cannot be cut by weapons. Same. The soul cannot be cut by fire. So that's why it is called adahya. The definition is given in text number 23 and then the word is being given in text number 24. It cannot be moistened by water. That's why it is called akledya. Does it make sense? Yes. See, like this we will never understand Bhagavad Gita. It's only because of the acharyas that we can look at the shlokas like this. Do you feel it is tasty to look at the shlokas like this? Is it not? Very interesting. The link is very nicely given. Okay. So what are the words we are learning? Achedya, adahya, akledya, ashoshya. Okay? Yes. The word also cannot be cut, burned, dissolved or dried out. The word eva indeed applies to all items in the list. Okay, what does it mean? Atma certainly cannot be cut, burned, moistened or dried. This will come so many times in the commentary. You should speak the shloka like this. Achedyo ayam eva, adahyo ayam eva, akledyo eva, ashoshya eva. Certainly it cannot be cut, certainly it cannot be burned, certainly it cannot be moistured, and certainly cannot be dried. So this word eva, although comes once in the first line, it get associated with all the four words describing the nature of the soul. Is it getting OHT or is it still within the? Okay, you should learn this because this will say so many, will come so many times in Bhagavatam also when we're going to discuss that the sada sarvat sambadhyate. The word sada is actually related with all these words in another place in Bhagavatam. So I couldn't understand what is the meaning of sada sarvat sambadhyate. The word sada is related to all the other words, means like dheyam sada. I'm forgetting the shloka. Very nice. Deyam sada. Anyhow, it describes about Mahaprabhu. The various qualities of the Lord are described, and with each of the qualities of Mahaprabhu, you have to attach the word sada, which only comes once in the shloka. So just like here, the word eva comes only once in the shloka, but the eva has to be associated with all the four qualities. Is it? I think it's easy to understand. We'll go forward. Yes. See, for 1 hour at least we are thinking only about Bhagavad Gita, is it not? That's very nice. Okay. The Atma is called all-pervading Sarvagataha because it accepts all types of bodies such as that of man, Devata, bird and beast, one after the other, according to karma. This is very easy to understand now. Sarvagataha means is not that if one body, if as per his karma, the Atma is supposed to receive one particular body, then it will have any difficulty in accepting that body. समझ में आ रहा है सर्वगता का अर्थ? Sarvagata means it can go in any kind of body and can avail all kinds of facilities. So now, encouraging point is we can also get into go to the spiritual world, accept a spiritual body. Do you think, my dear devotees, getting a spiritual body is a good idea? Milind, what do you think? Yes, it's a good idea. Very nice. And what if we get it? Maza aa jayega. That's what we should see. Yes. And what I'm supposed to do? Chant Hare Krishna, understand Bhagavad Gita, and take prasadam. Not complicated things. Not as much as others have to struggle in this world. Okay. So anybody who's pulling our leg from doing bhakti, you must understand he's coming in your way to receive your spiritual body. Then you think about it, how much you should listen to him. Anyone. The Atma also possesses a fixed form, sthano, and fixed qualities. So you see, now from this word sthano, we understand that the Lord, that the soul has a form. And achala means fixed qualities. We hear this. The Shruti says, Avinashi va are ayam atmanuchitti dharma. This Atma is indestructible with eternal qualities. We have discussed elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita that when the Atma is manifesting itself in its full form, then it revives its 8 qualities of not being born, not dying, and then Satya Sankalpa, all his desires are fulfilled, Satya Kam, all those things, 8 qualities of the Atma become manifest. And we also know that Atma is Satchidanand. So these qualities of Atma cannot be destroyed. And I have explained it elsewhere in some other class, how we are Satchidanand. Do you remember? No, Prabhuji. We are such a good student that we forget everything so that you can tell us the same thing over and over again. Don't worry. I'll again explain. Don't we see that in this life we are not changing as an observer remaining same? So we can see that is, we can feel the Sat quality of Atma. This is eternal. Obviously, we are conscious, so we have knowledge. Easy to understand. And we are always seeking happiness. So we are Anandamay. So at no point of time, these 3 qualities are leaving us. Is it not? Are you hearing Bhagavad Gita to become sad? Prabhuji, I was very happy and I'm hearing Bhagavad Gita so that I'll become sad or something like that. No. Or even if I'm trying to enjoy my material sense gratification, the only purpose is that I should become unhappy. Is it not? No. We have a hope, but somehow or other by trying to enjoy my senses, I'll become happy. So this desire for happiness cannot be given away, cannot be taken away from Atma, because Atma is Anandamay. Why I'm saying all this? These three qualities of Atma, Sat, Chidanand, are always there with the Atma. Just it is getting inhibited. That, okay, I'll explain one more quality. Do you accept that we are all servants? No. I am the controller of my family. I am the master. No. We should come. Prabhupada puts it very nicely. Although the husband will serve very nicely the family, but he thinks that I am the master. A small real life incident, one of our devotees was telling in the class that one person he saw, he was a brahmachari, fortunately. He's still now, and he was there in the train. And another person was with his family. Then the wife said, bring me a tea. She brought a tea. Then he said, bring me chips. Then the wife also was with her sister. She also wanted something, and he was constantly bringing. Finally, he became frustrated and said, "Arey, main naukar hu tumhara kya? Am I a servant?" And you know what the wife said? She said, yes. Yes. So a person may be thinking that I am the master, but he's not the master. We are always servants. We should remember this point. This quality also does not leave us, is it not? We always are seeking shelter. We also want somebody to serve. Everyone is a servant. So that quality of the Atma is not going away also. The objects cannot serve, and we have to serve. Again, I'm repeating, I was very unhappy yesterday because of the internet. I could not serve the devotees the way in which I really wanted to serve. The shlokas were so nice. I become happy by serving the devotees by speaking Bhagavad Gita. Does it make sense? In whichever way we serve, if we can serve Vaishnavas, serve Krishna, then we become happy. You should also remember these qualities. Why I'm saying all these things? This quality of the soul is never leaving the soul. Yesterday you saw very small baby, that small daughter also was putting the mats here. Everyone wants to serve. So if we don't get an opportunity to serve Krishna, we are being deprived of our highest source of happiness. Think about this. One cannot interpret the phrase anuchitti dharma to mean simply having the quality of indestructibility, since that would have the same meaning as Avinashi mentioned previously in the same sentence. The meaning is the indestructible Atma has eternal qualities. Anuchitti dharma. Anuchitti means, dharma means he has, not only that Atma is indestructible. I'll explain what I went too fast. You are seeing the shloka, Avinashi va are ayam atmanu chitti dharma. This has been quoted by Brihat Aranyak Upanishad. So Adacharya is explaining, the first line says Avinashi. The Atma cannot be destroyed. So somebody will say Atmanu chitti dharma. The Atmanu chitti dharma means the Atma cannot be destroyed. So in that way he say Atma cannot be destroyed, but it doesn't have any other quality. So to defeat that argument, the Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan is saying, no, Atma cannot be destroyed. That is the first line, Avinashi. And Atmanu Chitti Dharma means it has eternal qualities, as we mentioned. Eternally the soul will have qualities. It will remain a person. So see, every time the Mayavadis want to take a shloka and want to put this point forward that the soul has no form. Yes, but as soon as you talk about qualities, guna, then there will be rupa also. How can you have qualities without any form? All those things are clear. So then he says, no, why the shloka will repeat the same quality twice? And the first line says Avinashi, and the second line will also say the indestructible. No, that the second line means eternal qualities. That means the Atma has a form. These things are being described to explain the words sthanu and achala. It is fixed in its form, it is avinashi, and it also has eternal qualities. This is why this shloka has been quoted. It is going OST, or is it understandable? Little OST, little bit. It is just touching my head and going away like this. Not fully OST, but little bit like this and going away. See, we never discuss these things, but it's not that difficult to understand. You again read it, then you'll understand. Sanatana in the Gita verse means eternal. In this Gita verse, the reason for this fault of repetition or redundancy of word, the word Nitya has already been mentioned in the verse, will be explained in the next verse. So we'll see the next verse tomorrow. You know what is the commentary here? It says that Achedyoyam adahayoyam akledashosha evacha Nitya and Sanatana words are same. So why you are repeating this? Why the Lord is repeating the same words again and again? That we will see in the next shloka. I am actually becoming very curious. What is the next shloka? I am not knowing it by heart. What is that? Why the Lord will say like this? Just give me a second. 1 second. The Lord is saying, okay, one should not grieve for the body. So we'll anyhow discuss it tomorrow, Krishna willing, that understand these qualities of the soul to be eternal. Don't grieve for the body, just to emphasize this point. But anyhow, when we're going to read text number 25, we're going to understand that why the Lord is repeating the same meanings again and again. So let us now read the purport. One thing I want to ask, is Gita Bhushan understandable, interesting, or you feel it is too much? Okay, understandable. You have some question? Question is good. I'll take up at the last of the class. Purport. All these qualifications of the atomic law is good. The word sthanu was explained as immovable. Sorry, fixed in form, and achalaha was fixed in eternal qualities. So it's a good question by Milind Prabhu. Before we go forward, I will just take up this question. He asked here that the soul herein is also mentioned as immovable. That means achalaha. So what does this mean? Because when our body moves from one place to another, the soul also moves with it, isn't it? So that's what I was explaining. You should not understand the word achalaha in the general sense of our understanding. The word achalaha means it is fixed in its eternal qualities. Have we not discussed this point? Anuchitti dharma, the eternal qualities of the soul of Sachidananda Vigraha are fixed in the soul. Not that soul in the body, when the body is moving here and the soul is not moving. Obviously, if I'm here, I'm going to go to Krishna hall. Me in this body will be there in the Krishna hall. Is it okay? It's a good question. Many times these things don't remain clear to us. So we understand. My dear Atmas, are you still happy or are you hungry? Alright, Prabhuji. Anyhow, you have muted us. So if you say yes, it can indicate we are hungry. It can also indicate we are not hungry. What to do? We are stuck, Prabhuji. What to do? Purport. Just 5 pages. Don't worry. All these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit soul, and he remains the same atom eternally without change. So now hear this. The word, very, very important point. What quality of the soul you are learning from this paragraph? That the soul is eternally a fragmental part of the Lord. समझ रहे ना? So this quality, the Atma is achala. This also you can say that. This quality eternally is there with the Lord, with the soul. The soul never changes this quality that it becomes the Lord or it merges into the Lord. No. So this is a very important point you have to understand. Eternally the atomic particle of the spirit soul. Whatever quality the Atma has, it eternally has like that. Okay. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously, very easily, achedya, adahaya, akledya, ashosha, like that. After liberation, very interesting point, the quality of achedya, the quality of achedya, adahaya, akshedya, adahaya, aklodya, ashosha, they are eternally with the soul. These are the 4 qualities we are hearing about the soul. In that also the Atma is fixed, achala. It doesn't move from that quality. The qualities are always there, will always remain there with the soul. Okay? So don't say, Prabhu ji, bina prasad ki main mara ja raha hu. No. We cannot drive without food. Don't worry. We'll allow you to have some prasadam. Prabhuji, we have switched off the video and we are having our prasadam. What do you think? We are intelligent devotees. What do you think? We are intelligent people. We are not in live class. We're not sitting in front of you that you can torture us. What do you think? We can take prasadam and hear about Atma also. Yes, fine. I have no problem. You can do that also. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case. We have understood this. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planet to associate with the personality of Godhead. Please hear this section very carefully. If I want Sayujya Mukti means from Lord Krishna's spiritual form, there is spiritual effulgence coming in. So if I choose that I don't want to enter into the planet of the Lord and serve Him eternally, I can choose to be so provided my material contamination is cleansed. And then I'll enter into Brahmajyoti and stay there for whatever time I have to stay there, as long as I want. But you must remember, realizing Lord only will give us infinite happiness, because Atma is very small. Please hear very carefully. Atma is infinitesimal. Very small, Anu. So simply realizing the soul will not give you infinite happiness. I'm going very slow so that you can understand this. आत्मा बहुत छोटी है, तो आत्मा का अनुभव करके हमको असीमित सुख प्राप्त नहीं हो सकता है. But the Lord is infinite, so only when we realize the Lord through prema bhakti, then only we can get infinite happiness. So that's why Srila Prabhupada explains intelligent devotee. While he's doing sadhana, he's very clear about his goal, what he wants to achieve. If I want to achieve infinite happiness, we must target for prema bhakti, Krishna prem. Is it sinking in? Sinking in means going down? Yes, hopefully. At least it is. एक बार कान से स्पर्श होना चाहिए, फिर दोबारा सोचेंगे तो समझ में आ जाएगा मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ. The word Sarvagata, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. It's very easy to understand. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable, because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by a fire. So Prabhupada is giving the example that sometimes we think that we burn some bacteria out because of the fire. So maybe the bacteria is killed, but the soul within that bacteria body cannot be killed. Prabhupada gives this very nice example. So this is very clear. Sarvagata means they are all pervading, in the sense that they are taking any kind of body in all of the creation of the Supreme Lord. I think it's very easy to understand. But the soul itself, one soul, is not all pervading. There, समझ में आ रहा है? खाली हाँ हाँ बोलने के ऐसे फिक्स कर दिया गर्दन. इधर ऐसे होगी नहीं, ऐसे हो गया. जल्दी करो, नहीं तो प्रभु जी और क्लास लंबा कर देंगे. Able to understand. Gaur Gopal Prabhu, are you still in Philippines? No. Can you be in Philippines and here and Lucknow and everywhere? It is not possible, is it not? Maybe you cannot do, but I am so capable. Am I capable to do like this? Be in Indonesia, here, there? No, it doesn't work like that. I am here, then I'm here. When you become a Nitya Siddha Parshad, it is possible that you can expand yourself. Before I close, I want to tell you something nice. You like to hear something nice? Really amazing. When Lord Krishna kidnapped Rukmani, so he did not marry her at that time. So he brought Rukmani Devi, Mother Rukmani, in Dwaraka, and because all the people of Dwarka were resident, they wanted to have the marriage of Rukmani Devi in their homes. So there was marriage of Rukmani Devi and Krishna in every home. And to amaze you more, everyone participated in everyone's home. Prabhuji, I have to take my breakfast. Don't tell me something which is beyond my head. Yes, this is a fact. Everyone, even the Pandavas came from Hastinapur to participate in Krishna's marriage. So they simultaneously went to everyone's home. Vasudev and Devaki went to everyone's home. Not only Mother Rukmani and Krishna expanded, all of them expanded because all of them wanted to celebrate Krishna's wedding. Okay, go ahead. I can digest it, no problem. Go ahead. This is how inconceivable spiritual world is. Okay, we'll finish soon now. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. That is explanation of Sarvagataha. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagataha, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. And we also know from the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that the first Bhagavad Gita class was happened where? In the sun planet. Imam vivasvate yogam. The Lord explained this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to the sun god. Okay. Sometimes people ask, Prabhuji, did the Lord give the same Bhagavad Gita to the sun god? Now say, what answer we can give? Yes, I was there and I was recording it. It's a stupid question. The Lord is telling, if the Lord is telling that I gave this knowledge to sun god, what is any other way by which we can confirm this? There is no other way. You have to hear and accept Bhagavad Gita. So, okay, so what did we basically took two shlokas here by which we learn that the soul cannot be cut, and soul cannot be moistened, soul cannot become hungry. No. Definitely my Atma is very hungry now. No, so, all those things are deha dharma. ये देह के धर्म हैं जो हमारे ऊपर आरोपित किए जा रहे हैं. Yes, so I am also hungry now. We say this, I am hungry, but actually there are certain juices which are coming into my stomach by which I am identifying that I am becoming hungry. Too much Gyan, Prabhuji, stop it. You want to have some prasadam? Yes, fine. But I'm just saying this is how we slowly come out of the bodily concept. Any questions? Hey, Kumar, Anish, you are finally there. You have realized that you have self-realized. I think you have come into your spiritual form now. Okay, you are covered over by Avaratmika Shakti. Okay, you have any questions? I want dear devotees. And during the class, sometimes I joke. Please do not be offended. Because nothing can touch you. No joke can offend the soul. Is it not? Adhayam. Nothing can burn the soul. So please, remember your soul. So don't worry about it. It's easy to say, but difficult to apply. Okay, so